Me and Brie were talking about it while we were waiting for you, and I'm like, she's panicking right now. She's like running around this house in New Hampshire trying to figure out how she can connect to Wi-Fi.
Mish was like, I'm pretty sure she's probably crying right now. I'm like, you're not probably wrong.
You're not wrong.
Trying to find my calling, I'm calling at night. I don't mean to be a bother, but have you seen this? Oh, I'm not going to sing The Girl. That's a high note that I always do not hit. But she's been running through my dreams, and it's driving me crazy, it seems. I'm gonna ask her to marry me. Now, I am not asking anyone to marry me, but Kelly was asked to be married by her boyfriend, and that is Michelle speak for Kelly is engaged. She is a fiance. You got me popping champagne. I'm at it again. Of course, we're like the theme song to you being engaged is like all
it's like literally every all-time low song.
Right.
Ever.
So obviously this episode is going to be all about her and her engagement. So Kelly, tell us everything.
This is not all about me, but thank you. I appreciate your kind words and your very amazing song. It was so beautiful. I think I will really use that recorded version at my wedding. So it sounds amazing.
Yes. Love it. All right. So as much as I'd love for this episode to be about Kelly, it isn't, even though she deserves it. So, I hope you're all prepared because this episode is going to be more of a commitment than any marriage will be. We may not be doing a track by track this episode, but we are going to be doing some chitting and chatting about 3. That's right. Count them 1, 2, 3. The main reference. That's really hard to say.
Yeah, it is actually kind of difficult. That's not grammatically correct.
Doesn't flow. But anyways, so we're going to be talking about 3 albums that have dropped within the last week, plus 2 EPs and a ton of other new music. And if that wasn't enough, we have another band interview for you guys. I told you, this is a commitment, this episode right here. Episode 21. This episode can drink, motherfuckers.
Cheers.
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 So get ready, because we're like a fucking legit music podcast now, talking to the people who make the music and shit. So we're going to dive into this long, personal, and pretty deep, but also super lighthearted chat with Jacob Johnston of Riverview, which Kelly was not a part of because she was getting engaged.
Yeah, but I also had a lot of FOMO before that exciting moment happened. I had way too much FOMO for not being included on this interview. I was trying to figure out some way to find an internet connection in remote New Hampshire, but that didn't work.
But that's okay because you got engaged.
This is true.
It's such first world problems of where's the Wi-Fi?
I know.
Where's the Wi-Fi?
It's I need it. Where is it? How can I find it?
I really need to hear Mike's side of this of yeah, I was trying to psych myself up for this and she was too busy worrying about the fucking Wi-Fi.
It was funny because me and Brie were talking about it while we were waiting for you to see if you were going to be able to come on, Cal. And I'm like, she's panicking right now. She's running around this house in New Hampshire trying to figure out how she can connect to Wi-Fi.
Mish was like, I'm pretty sure she's probably crying right now. I'm like, you're not probably wrong.
You're not wrong. There was also eating pizza involved as well. Which helped the soul a little bit.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to keep this excitement going into music news. All right. So first off, we we have a recommendation from our good friend Crystal McRae from Scenes from the Underground. We have Action Adventure, who just released their song Barricades and Tuck Everlasting. Well, not like just, but like within the last like couple months.
Recently.
Yeah, recently. And dude, I'm gonna die soon if I don't go to a concert because I need to see Action Adventure live. Like, the guitars in these songs is just quintessential pop punk, and I just really want to mosh. You know, we're here on the Moshpit, and I'm not fucking moshing.
Not right.
It's
not
not.
okay.
It's absolutely not. And you know, I'm just. I'm dying inside, especially when I hear bands like this. Like, you know, I hadn't heard of them before. Like I said, this was a recommendation, and I was totally into it, like absolutely bomb. And, you know, I really got into, before I even listened to them, I was already like a fan of just who they are, because they just released this like video series called like Pop Punk in Color. And they kind of talk, you know, it's another one of these bands that's like doing good things to expand the scene, you know, and include others and be visible for Black people and people of color. So they, you know, they kind of talk about like these stereotypes and these biases that they've experienced as people of color in the scene. And like, you know, one of them was called "You Don't Look the Way You Sound," and I thought it was really interesting because like I thought his voice was great, you know, and nothing really kind of stood out for me. I thought he was just, you know, just some other guy in a pop punk band, and I don't say that in a bad way. It was just like it was interesting to me that, you know, like a lot of what he got that he's gotten is that, you know, you don't look the way you sound. And like, what is that even supposed to mean? You know, it's just like, he's a fucking great ass singer, you know, like, you know, and it just doesn't make sense to me because, you know, like, for me, it's just about the music, and this dude's talented. His band is talented because, you know, it's not just his vocals. Like, the guitars are on point, and lyrically, I think they have like something really special. Like, you know, they're unmistakably like pop punk musically, like, so, you know, in that sense, you could kind of argue that they're generic. They are far from it. You know how we are. We vibe with the lyrics most on this show, and, you know, these guys are definitely writing beyond the bullshit that we see. It's a little more existential. And, you know, like as much as I hate to admit it, because I'm happy with my life and the direction it's going in, I have never related so fucking hard to a lyric like, "Those best years are behind us, so I'll seek out the fountain of youth." Like, legit, I was like, ouch. That hurts.
I feel it real deep.
Yeah.
Why did we have to bring that up? I was kind of just pretending that lyric didn't happen because it just hurt too much.
So
Normally
much.
I relate, but that one just like kind of like stabbed me straight in the heart.
Right in the heart, yeah. But yeah, no, they're fucking fantastic, and if you haven't listened to them yet, treat your fucking self to this absolute eargasm.
So, jumping off of what you were saying, Mish, I agree and disagree about the not being able to tell what people look like versus what they sound like. I don't think of necessarily like facial structure or race or anything like that. For me, for some reason, it's body build.
They're all skinny motherfuckers.
Yes, I hear a raspy voice, I automatically picture some like big buff dude, but like it almost like as if they're like from a horror movie, like they literally just don't have a face because I don't really care.
Yeah.
Hair for me.
Yeah, like that's the kind of features I think about. I don't think about like, you know, race, whatever. It's mainly just like the raspy voice. I picture a big dude. Anytime I hear like a really high pitched voice, I think of the stereotypical really skinny kid with like the long flowy hair, kind of like Travis body build from We the Kings. But so that's like the only thing. But I agree, like people who say that, you know, you don't sound like you don't look what you sound like. It's weird, but like because I know that he obviously, like, most people think about it in like, oh, your race, your background, your whatever. Me, I'm just kind of like, oh, you're this skinny dude. And you're not like
you're a skinny dude.
It's interesting though to hear something like that, and like we're on a podcast right now. A lot of people might not know what we look like, and I, you know, when you hear something like that, it kind of brings things into perspective. You're like, we're on a podcast now. What do people think we look like, and are we surprising to people or not? And
do we sound hot?
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna go with yes. I think that's the number one
Yeah.
adjective that comes to mind. But
Hot.
Well, I mean, I personally listen to a lot of podcasts, and the amount of times I've looked up the hosts, like, after a few episodes, and I'm like, nope, that was not what I pictured. Like, it's not, and like I said, it's mainly, like, voices with famous people, more than, like, extrapolating thing. Like, I don't know. Either way.
Yeah, no, I get what you guys are saying, that, like, you know, you can definitely have a picture in your head, but, you know, I think where, you know, this is coming from is just that because of the lack of representation in the scene, it's like, I know what
Agreed.
you mean. I know exactly what you were not picturing a black or brown kid. You know, you were picturing a Jeremy McKinnon. You were picturing an Alex Gaskarth. You were, you know, that's who you were picturing. But
you were picturing a skinny white boy, basically.
yeah, and you know, and that's
because that's all our scene has been for, like,
which is unfair.
Yeah.
And going back to our conversation with Crystal in episode 9, it's when we do get to that point where there is representation in the scene, nobody's gonna say shit like that.
Perfect example of this whole situation is I one time pictured a dude. I thought it was a woman because his voice was that high pitch. So
You never know.
Shit happens. But bouncing off of your other point, Mish, when you were talking about the guitars, like the actual music side of things, the drums in these songs were, like, fucking on fire. Like, especially in Barricades. Like, I actually was very upset when it ended because I
was too
realized it was,
short.
like, a baby song. Yeah, it was a minute long or 59 seconds long. And when it ended, I was like, no, where's
Give me
the rest of
more!
it? I want more. Exactly. But yeah, I loved it, and it was so classic pop punk, and we know that my tastes when it comes to this scene are very narrow.
Yeah.
So the fact that it hit all of the right spots for me is anyone who is a generic pop punk listener will completely appreciate this band.
Brie, they touched you all in the right spots. Oh yeah. How's the
Wink, wink,
Scandalous?
nudge, nudge.
What would Slayton say about that?
He's upstairs playing video games.
Doesn't care.
No cares.
Whatever.
That's fine.
I love it. It's a really great song. I feel like you guys said everything there is to say. It's I love the intro, super powerful intro to Barricades, both, like, lyric wise and music wise. Just super powerful intro, and that just, like, got me really excited for it. I don't know, a good intro, you just want to, like, just hear more, and so that got me really excited. But it's just, like, so classic pop punk with the guitar and drums and, like, passionate vocals, and yeah, just, like, really up my alley, and I'm very excited about them.
Okay. Moving on. The next new song we've got listening to is I'm Sorry by Mokita and the Stand Atlantic. Mokita, is that how you say the name? That seems right.
No idea.
Mark?
Sounds great.
We're gonna roll with it. Apologies if we're pronouncing it wrong. Please message us anytime we screw up someone's name because we don't want to do that. Anywho, it was a good song. It gave me a lot of Bieber vibes, like Justin Bieber vibes. It was very mellow and low key, and when I say Justin Bieber, I don't mean in, like, his shitty side of music. I mean, like, the very popular, very mainstream kind of way. But their voices are great together. They complement each other amazingly. And it gave me some feels. I liked it. It made me feel happy inside.
So it's funny that you said Justin Bieber vibes, because I don't know where my head was at, but when I, like, in the first verse, all I could think of was Ryan Cabrera, which, like, I don't know, like, why do I even still know his name? I don't know.
Because Ryan Cabrera defined our generation, but
well, clearly, but, like,
isn't he married to someone famous? I feel like he's still married to someone famous.
I don't know. All I can remember is his, like, spiky hair that I loved.
Oh my god, his hair. I forgot about that.
Exactly. That's literally all I know. And like I remember that one song, can't even remember the name of it, but like
On the way down.
I don't know what about this like made me make that connection, but I thought it was it was a really cool song. I had never listened to Mochita before, but I thought he had a really great voice, and I'm really not sure why Ryan Cabrera was also in my head at this
I mean,
time.
I feel it. Like, he's because he's
It's like
got like almost
it's like
that
singer
like
songwritery and like
yeah,
almost John Mayer-ish.
boy next door kind of dude.
Yeah.
And
That's
like
I think that's like what I was
yeah.
going for there.
So he's not married. I thought he was married
Oh.
for some reason. Ironically enough, though, he got engaged on November 15th. So, like, a couple of days ago. Like,
Well,
of this
maybe
year.
you just like
So-
knew that and wanted to share that with everyone.
We're just a lightning rod right now for engagements, Kel.
Get ready, everyone that's listening.
Who's next?
I don't know.
But yeah, apparently Wikipedia also has him listed as pop rock, and I don't know how you feel about that.
I mean, I can see
Mochita
it.
as pop rock. That's actually a good point. Like I don't really know.
No, not
I was
Mochita. Ryan
Oh.
Cabrera.
Oh, that's not true.
They have him listed as
kind
pop rock, and I'm like,
A little bit.
I don't.
maybe. Way more
mean-
pop than rock.
He's definitely more
Right.
pop than rock, but he's on the verge of pop rock, but definitely
You
more like
think
pop.
so? All right. Well, this is not about Ryan Cabrera, so let's move on.
This is a good point. Tune into our other podcast all about Ryan Cabrera.
Cabrera-thon. That's the name.
Wait, I'm actually really impressed with you coming up with that on the spot. That's a not halfway bad name.
It just came out.
I love it. That's great. Okay, back to the topic at hand. Mochita in Stand Atlantic. I actually thought the lyrics were like pretty poetic. They were like pretty lyrics and just like really easily relatable, and their voices together, Mochita and Bonnie's were like so smooth. I loved it.
Can anyone guess what my first comment is going to be?
Dual vocals.
Absolutely. Kelly, like, you're absolutely right. I think they complemented each other super well. It was just like it's the kind of call and response love story that I want in my music. You know, even though I guess lyrically it's a, you know, like a post love story, but I love those too because, you know, that shit's real. You know, happy endings, they blow, they're unrealistic, they suck. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a good rom-com, but like, you know, there's just something about like a not happy ending. Kelly, I think it was with you and Paige. We watched, I want to say it was called Blue Valentine.
Literally
Maybe?
no idea what you're talking
But
about.
it was like a romance, and it was like a really sad ending, and you guys were like, "What the fuck is going on?" I was like, "Yeah, this is dope." This, you know, and I was like,
sounds like a real life scenario for sure.
yeah. So that's, you know, that's kind of what the song is to me. It's, you know, like real, I guess. And you know, I gotta say it's a nice other side to Bonnie that I feel like I haven't heard before. You know, it's a kind of sweet and innocent versus like the badass kind of cheeky attitude that she has in Stand Atlantic music. But yeah, and I'm a fan of it, and I think that's saying something because, you know, typically I need that upbeat party pop punk to love a song, but I love this. So the next song, not particularly pop punk, but I have quite a sweet spot for the Juliana Theory, who just released a new song, Can't Go Home. But my sweet spot is why they are on this playlist, or the playlist that I made for us to listen to talk about during this episode. Anyways, I was actually listening to their album Emotions Dead the other day, and it's, you know, one of those albums that takes me back, like specifically to sophomore year of high school. And that Juliana Theory that I used to listen to when I was 16 is much different than this one. They traded in their emo card for like a pop rock, almost folky rock sound. Almost. I say almost. I really emphasize that almost. But, you know, I don't hate it. It's kind of anthemic. It reminds me of the song that came out the year we graduated, Brie. It's the DJ with the rock artist, maybe. I would think it was Avicii. Wake Me Up, maybe?
I'm gonna be completely honest. I have no idea what you're talking about because I got zero I got zero DJ vibes from
Well,
this.
I mean, everybody knows Avicii. I'm pretty sure it was Wake Me Up. And I mean, I'm not saying that it sounds like that, but it still has that same...
Wake Me Up is, like, super upbeat. Wake Me Up is like, so wake me up. Like, it's super upbeat, and it's Aloe Black who sings the song, so it's, like, I think you've gone either stir-crazy from COVID, or you have sleep deprivation or something, because I have zero idea how you connected those two dots.
So, no, it's not even about them sounding alike. It's more of the power behind it that, you know, can kind of attach itself to memory. Is like, you know, like a summer or a specific party or kind of thing. Like you know, for me, like songs like Avicii, like whether it's Wake Me Up or like Levels, like that stuff, I attach that to parts of my life, and I feel like this kind of this song is like that kind of vibe.
Okay, the thought process behind it, now that you've explained it, I'm like, okay, I get it, but still don't. Yeah,
I mean, I'm still not sure that's the song that I was thinking of.
Yeah,
but
to be fair, there was a lot of DJ and rock combinations
that came out that year.
When we graduated, which, not gonna lie, I loved it.
I did too. But yeah, like I said, it was that kind of anthemic type of stuff.
Yeah. I will say that personally, this song was it was okay. Like, it was nice. I wouldn't change the channel. It's just more of a not memorable thing. So when you're talking about how it's got power and you can attach a memory to it, I honestly thought this song was pretty forgettable. So
You're forgettable, Brianne.
Whoa.
Don't talk shit about the Juliana Theory. I love them.
I'm not saying they're bad.
I'm just kidding. You're not forgettable, Brianne. Brianne, you've been in my life for 11 years. If you were forgettable, you would be long gone by now.
She would have gotten rid of you by now.
Wait, has it really been 11 years already?
2009, dude.
Oh, fuck. Well, technically, yeah, because it's fall already.
Yeah.
In my brain, I'm like, it's not until fall 2020. It would have been. And I'm like, oh, it's November. It's been a year. God, that just hit me differently. Sorry,
I just broke Brianne.
Yeah, I think that you did.
You did. You actually might have. I think you did. Kelly, why don't you talk about this song while I collect my shit?
You're gonna need more time than this. No, I honestly had not heard of the Juliana Theory before, so that's on me. But
no, I promise you probably know at least 2 of their songs.
Well, so I listened to their new song first, and it was like, I thought it was pretty catchy. It was like kind of dancey. It reminded me a little bit of like a Walk the Moon's like dancey vibe kind of. But then, so I was like, like I wonder like how Michelle had been listening to them before. So I looked at their Spotify, and I noticed that they, like, this 2020, they started releasing some new music, and then before that they hadn't released anything since 2006. Yep. So it's like it's been a while. It's been a minute since they've released anything. And so I went back and listened to a couple songs on Emotion is Dead that you were just talking about, Michelle. And like literally it sounds like 2 complete different bands. I don't understand how they're the same band. Like Emotion is Dead sounds like My Chemical Romance, and this sounds like A Walk the Moon. Like, not 2 things that you would probably compare to the same band ever. So
I feel like we missed the whole evolution, like, throughout these last 14 years. Like, there's, like...
What was happening in between then? Maybe they had spin-off bands. They all had, like... Maybe they had side projects that we don't know of or something.
Yeah.
Who knows? But definitely a crazy kind of transition evolution there of the Juliana Theory. But
Brianne, have you collected your shit?
Yes. Shit has been collected.
Oh, so
proud. But then it got blown up again when Kelly mentioned 2006, and my brain was like... You were a freshman in high school. You're a freshman in high school.
I cannot.
No,
compute.
My brain cannot compute. I mean, this year has been weird enough already. The fact that we just threw out the fact that Michelle and I have known each other for 11 years, and then 2006 got thrown out. I'm like, I was a freshman in high school, and I'm almost 30 now, and I'm just like, I'm still that person who thinks
Brianne versus the world.
Segue.
Oh my god, I did one. So, All American Rejects also released a new single this past week, Me versus the World. Yeah, it's a song. It is. It definitely is a song.
And there is music and there are lyrics. So
There
it is
are.
a song.
That is so true. So yeah, I wasn't the greatest fan of this song, but All American Rejects over like the last 3 years, I think, have just been like releasing a couple singles here and there. And like all of those I haven't really been in love with. It's definitely like a different sound from the All American Rejects that like, you know, they're classics that we all know and love. But I haven't been a fan of a lot of their recent singles, and you know, this one included. I don't know, I thought it felt like a little gimmicky. I don't know.
So I completely agree with you, Kel. I was so excited that they were releasing new music. So I'm just like, yeah, it's gonna be another anthem, like it was in college, and all these other songs that come out. Maybe not something so recently, but I held out hope, and then I heard it, and I was just like, oh, okay, because there were so many points where they could have even made the song they had better, but then they didn't. Like, at the end of the bridge, I needed him to scream, because we've heard him scream in songs before, and that was, like, just the perfect point, and just all these things, and it wasn't bad by any means, but, like, it's not an anthem like Gives You Hell, or, you know, Swing Swing, or any of those songs. It was just, it's okay. It's nothing so much to write home about. I was just very upset that I was hoping for a new, like, song to belt out.
Yeah.
This one in it.
Yeah, it's a meh for me too. I mean, you know, Kelly, you mentioned there was been other singles in recent years. I haven't heard a single one of them. And
What's
you
the
know,
one that was like on the radio?
I had no idea there was one on the radio.
Send Her to Heaven or something.
I've only been recently listening to the radio because, you know, I found my alternative rock station that I just talk about all the time. But no, for me, this song came out of left field, and you know, it doesn't. I think kind of like you guys said, it doesn't sound like the All American Rejects I know, or you know, maybe it kind of does, because it kind of, you know, Brie mentioned Gives You Hell. It kind of has that asshole vibe that they just exude. Tyson Ritter's kind of exudes that asshole vibe. Like, it's like if Gives You Hell was a person. So this song also has that aura. That said, I'm not really a fan of it. Like you guys said, it's just you know, it kind of annoyed me actually. And you know, it's you know, you said, Cal, there was they've been playing some of their stuff on the radio in recent years, and it's the kind of annoyed you get when you overplay a song on the radio. And I heard the song like twice, so for it to be like that annoying, yeah, and it just doesn't sound like Tyson Ritter, to be honest. So it's just, I don't know. Overall, like Kelly, you said, it was gimmicky. It feels like they were thinking like, oh, we haven't put out a song in a bit, you know, maybe we should fucking do it because we need a paycheck. That's kind of how it felt.
Yeah. So I did a quick Google search, and most recent songs they've released was Sweat in 2017 and Send Her to Heaven in 2019. And I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard. So I have heard Send Her to Heaven, and it has like kind of like a very loose term, like similar sound to it. And I remember hearing that one, and I was like, is
What
this
is happening?
All American Rejects, or like who is this random band that released this? It didn't sound like them at all. But I think after hearing that one, I was less excited, I guess, to hear this one, because I knew like Send Her to Heaven wasn't really my vibe.
You were mentally prepared for
I was,
shit.
I think, a little more prepared for this to not be an anthem.
I'm still sad. Felt like I got hit by a brick wall. Segue. A Day to Remember has released a new song called Brick Wall. And once again, so pumped, so excited for new music. I love A Day to Remember. Once again, just like All American Rejects, it fell pretty flat. It's weird because a good chunk of the song was very slow and very mellow, and then out of nowhere it came these hard hits. And the hard hits are the stereotypical A Day to Remember vibe you get. And they posted one of those hard hits on their Instagram to tease this song, and so I was like, fuck yes. That's why I was so excited for the song. And it just let down so hard because the only parts that I liked were the tiny bit of the end of the chorus and then the bridge where they have the breakdowns where I can headbang and whatnot, and then it just kind of like pulls back again, and it's okay. That's how I feel about the song.
Yeah, I would agree. I didn't like it. And I'm sad to say that, but it's probably not one I'm gonna go back to and listen to again. But so I Brie, that breakdown in the bridge was like cool. I liked that. And then I just got like, so I was like, yes, this is a good breakdown. Like I like this bridge. This is fun. And then it literally just kept going until the end of the song. Like that is not.
That did carry on.
I was like,
while.
Okay, now this is just getting annoying. Please stop. Like why is this still happening? This is not. It just like got. It was so repetitive at that point. Like the point of a bridge, like you break it up and you add some excitement and spice up the song. And now you're just like doing the same thing over and over again, and then you're fading out. I don't know. That was an emotional roller coaster for me because I was very excited to like something in the song, aka the bridge, and then it turned out to not be the bridge. They were just like a super long outro. I don't know. So that made me upset. But it was also just like really different from Mind Reader and Degenerates, so like I'm just like not sure what to think of the upcoming album anymore.
Yeah, like I've been stoked for this album. I've really had my hopes up for it, but this is just, I mean, I think we've reached a consensus. For me, it's just horrible. Like I can't even get with the positives that you guys found in the song. Like, I would go
not a positive for me anymore. It was
yeah,
when
right.
I was first listening, then I was like, this is such bullshit. Like, why are you still doing this breakdown?
It's still going.
Jeez, they got Kelly to say bullshit. Fuck.
That's when you know you fucked it up.
You fucked up hard. Yeah, no, I'd go as far as to say I hate this song. Like that's where I am. It's definitely
Ooh, that's aggressive.
It is. That's the worst of the singles they've released. And it, like I said, it sucks because I've been looking forward to this album, especially with it taking so long to get released.
Mm-hmm.
So which they finally did announce a release date. By the way, it's being released in March, so you guys can expect a track by track for us of that. So we'll see if we get our first failing album in the way it's looking. But I don't know, maybe with how long it's been taking, maybe they should have revisited it and done something different. I mean, not that they obviously have to cater to us because it's their music, right? But I feel like there's been a lot of pushback from the singles that they have released, so maybe they might have gone back, but maybe they did go back and they just made it worse. I don't know. But I just hate the vocals and I hate the music, and I feel like Jeremy McKinnon has so much more in him than he showcased here. And despite it all, I really am still holding out hope for You're Welcome, but the hope's dwindling as we go. I just can't believe they messed it up this bad. Speaking of messing up, College Radio.
Speaking of messing up, Mish.
Leave
it in.
College Radio.
Today, College Radio.
Leave it
in.
College Radio does not get messed up anymore. They used to get messed up, but no longer. So our buddies in College Radio have released their EP. Yay!
Hooray!
In case you couldn't tell, it's called I Used to Get Messed Up. And I am a big fan. When we talked with the guys earlier this year, I told them I was getting very Newfound Glory vibes, and it rings true with their EP. It's like Radio Surgery meets Resurrection. It's fantastic. And I don't want, because obviously they're a newish band, and I don't want to compare them and like pigeonhole them, but like it's a major compliment. And their title track, like I Used to Get Messed Up, is catchy as fuck, and I'm going to be singing it for days. I highly recommend. I am saying it right now. I'm certain this band is going to blow up. So get in now on their ground floor, because I Used to Get Messed Up is brilliant.
I love I Used to Get Messed Up. Particularly, I connect very much with the lyric, I used to stay out late when I could stay awake. This is very much on brand for me.
It's very much on brand.
I like to go to bed early.
That's been on brand for you since college.
Well, actually, like I also like used to go to bed early also, like in college. But like, whatever.
But like we kept you
I
out
was about
late.
to say, I'm like, yeah.
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 But I used to get messed up, but like also go to bed early. So
Kel was there for a good time, not a long time.
Oh, yes. That is more my motto, I guess. But either way, I still really like the song, and we'll definitely be jamming to it for a while. So very exciting.
On top of obviously everything we've talked about, the music sounds great, the cover art. We've talked about with other albums about how cover art can make or break things. Their cover art is just chef's kiss.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's very much reminds me of at least each of us at one point during our college career.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And the fact that they're called college radio, it's very fitting, it's very whatever. Another point that I wanted to make was Shine On was like super interesting. The guitar was amazing, but also the subtle shout outs to the holiday season. There's specific lyrics that say silent, oh holy ghost so bright. And all that came to my mind was Silent Night. And, like, that was, like, the #1 Christmas carol that was sung in my house when I was a kid. Shout out to Nank for only being able to sing that one Christmas carol to put me and my sister to bed when we were kids because he didn't know any other ones.
That's so cute.
Shout out to my dad. He was the greatest. But, yeah, so
sweet.
Silent Night is, like, ingrained in my brain. So as I'm listening to this song, I was just like, Christmas music, what?
I'm ready.
It is that season.
I'm ready. I am ready for the Christmas season. Let's do this. Normally, I'm very much you are not allowed to do anything Christmas until after Thanksgiving, but we are recording this pre-Thanksgiving, and I'm ready for it. This year's been shitty,
2020
so I'm ready for it.
is a exception of a year, because you know what? I am like a hard line, no Christmas until Thanksgiving. But this year, I'm letting it slide.
I've been watching Christmas movies on Hallmark since November 1st, so
it's fine. I watched that like Christmassy series, Dash and Lily on Netflix.
Oh, I haven't. Don't tell me. I haven't watched it yet.
I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not that kind of person, Kelly.
Okay, well, I don't know.
You'll like it. You'll definitely like it.
Yes, it's Christmas, so.
I can't get behind like Hallmark Christmas movies and like, that kind of stuff just because
I love them so much.
It's the same story.
Exactly.
But that's the point.
Movie.
That's the point. It's amazing.
It's reliable.
It's so cringy.
Small town girl
cringy.
like plans the Christmas
Gives up her
festival
career
and
in order-
converts the big city executive with her Christmas spirit, and then they fall in love. Like,
Yeah.
what else do you need?
Well, there's that one, but then there's also I'm gonna go home for Christmas even though I have this amazing job and I love my life and I don't need a man, and then she meets this one guy from the hometown and gives all of it up just to be with him. That shit is fucked up. Feminism. Keep your job. Fuck the dude.
I don't
You
agree.
don't need no man.
I mean, yes,
Hallmark
I
movies
agree
are
with
awesome.
all of that in spirit, but also, love is love.
I'm also the Hallmark movie expert, and I haven't seen that one, so
I feel like that's like the stereotypical trope of like
No. Okay, so you know what we're gonna do now? Moving forward,
no.
I will be sending you the descriptions for all the Hallmark movies that I'm watching. And yes, they will be all the same. You are correct. But
what streaming service is Hallmark on? Is
I'm
there
currently paying an extra $9 a month to for this subscription to this thing
Stop,
called
you are
Friendly,
not.
but no vowels. Friendly.com, no vowels.
Okay.
Kelly.
This is not an ad. I am
Kelly.
not sponsored, but please sponsor me.
Sponsor us, okay?
Sponsor you? Just smash Hallmark movies.
Well, maybe if they sponsor us, I will be converted.
But now then
I'll
we're gonna
convert
know
you
you're a
myself.
sellout, Bria.
All right, we are so off right now. This isn't even our Christmas episode. We can get into this in our Christmas episode, holiday
Yes.
episode.
Accurate. Continuing on.
Stay tuned.
All right. I mean, overall, yeah, College Radio's new EP, worth a listen. Go do it, Christmas or not, all times of year. Give it a listen.
It's an evergreen album.
It really is, you know. All right, another piece of new music news for you. Signs of Progress have released a song called Bones Exposed, as well as an EP on November 20th. And might I say, super slick guitar in the intro. And we all know how much I love intros because, like I said earlier, it just gets you super pumped for what is to come. So I really, really liked the guitar in the intro. And just, you know, always pleasant to hear a female vocalist in our scene. So that got me also very excited about Bones Exposed. But pretty good song overall. I thought I definitely loved when they did the dual vocals, and Michelle, obviously you probably do too.
Obviously.
But I thought like maybe overall like it felt like a tiny bit underproduced, but still like really cool for their, you know, some of their first singles and their first EP. Lately I've been like really liking some of the like added production and in a lot of the music we've been listening to, so that just kind of stuck out to me a little bit, but overall pretty sweet.
Definitely agree with you. Definitely sweet. Fantastic. Like the guitar's killer. But I'm gonna disagree with you. I don't think the quote unquote like underproduced like, you know, vibe of it hurts it. It reminds me.
I don't think it hurts it.
Yeah, I think it reminds me of the grittiness of All We Know Is Falling. And I kind of hate that I'm making that comparison because I don't want to compare Sage, the vocalist, to Haley, though I think she has that talent. She definitely has her own unique voice. I will say though that before that last chorus, there's a little scream that's a little Haley-esque, but she definitely has her own persona in the music, and like you said, Cal, it's nice to hear a female vocalist in the scene. I just loved at that point that I mentioned where she has that little scream. I loved how like the guitar right after made you think it was gonna end, and then it went into this like drum introduction for the guitar solo. It was absolutely fucking beautiful. It was hard eyes as fuck, and yes.
So I agree with Kelly. The guitar was fucking killer. And I really do like her voice, but I'm not gonna lie, Mish, I was thinking the complete opposite. When I heard it, I was like, finally, a female vocalist we can't compare to Haley. Like,
well, that's
I
the
didn't
thing.
hear it.
I wasn't comparing her to Haley. I didn't want to compare her to Haley. Yeah.
I'm not, well, no, I know, but like in my head, I was like, we always compare a female vocalist to
Yeah.
Haley. And so in my head, I was like, yes, she sounds so different. She sounds so original. And then as I was finishing up the song, I read your note about the scream, and I was like, fuck, now all I can hear is Haley. So I'm gonna agree with you like 10%. I think most of her voice is super original and super out there. I think maybe there's little bits and pieces that you can compare to Haley back in the day, but mostly I want to say that she's pretty original. But I really loved her voice. I loved the song was great. I was a huge fan. So we teased this at the top of the episode. We're into our full album reviews, but we're gonna do this rapid fire because ain't nobody got time for a track by track right now. Because
For 3 track by tracks.
Yeah.
you're probably falling asleep from your like post Thanksgiving coma. So
Yes,
I'm just
definitely.
gonna go as quickly as we're gonna rapid fire this stuff.
They're eating
First
their turkey their
Leftovers.
Thanksgiving turkey leftover sandwiches.
The
Yeah,
best
with-
part.
All right, first up we have Boys of Fall. The album's called Distance, and holy shit, y'all. I don't get, we all know I don't get super excited about stuff. I don't look up bands often. I don't follow up with bands I don't already know. I'm very much a creature of habit. Easiest way to put it is I am the slacker of the co-hosts because I find my niche and I stick to it, and I don't, they have to bring things to me in order to listen to it. But holy shit, these guys are on fucking fire. The album is so great. Other than the songs that we've listened to as singles, I have never listened to them before, and oh my god, they are going to be in my regular rotation, which is saying something, because most of my free time is spent either watching TV with my boyfriend, or YouTube with my boyfriend, or listening to podcasts. So the very few times I listen to music, I usually stick to a very small select amount of bands, and holy shit, this album's being added to that rotation. I can't even say specifics because just like there's too many emotions in my body right now.
I feel literally the same way. I don't know where to start. Like when we're talking about, like, I just don't even know where to start. It's just so good. They're so impressive. Like we'd even heard, like you said, Bray, we'd heard half the album pretty much. We heard 4 or 5 out of 11 songs. So we heard like half the album before this, but hearing them as part of the album was like a whole different experience, and all of the other songs that weren't singles were just as good as the singles, and like that never happened. So I don't know how they did that, but so impressive. And so like before these new singles had come out, I had maybe known of like 2 Boys of Fall songs tops, like in their whole discography. Like I had known of like 2 songs, and like I really liked those 2 songs, but I had never really like listened to that much more. But since those singles came out and they were so good, I like went back and listened to their past 2 albums, Better Moments and Thank You and Goodbye, and it just gave me like so much more respect, and like I just keep saying impressed because I'm so impressed at like how much they've, like, you can just tell how much they've evolved from Thank You and Goodbye, which was I think 2016, 2015 or something, and then Better Moments, which was 2018, and they sound like a completely different band from Better Moments. So it's just like, it's so crazy. But I tried to pick some of my favorite songs so that our listeners could have somewhere to start, but then like I literally couldn't pick a favorite song, which is not a new problem for me. Like I tend to have a little bit of an issue picking favorite songs, but Mad Sad, Overthinking, and Midnight I think were my top 3 favorites, but then also Little Disaster, Distance, and Worth It are also really good. So I don't pick favorites very well.
Kelly, you just named half the album.
Yeah, I did. So maybe just go listen to all of it would be my suggestion.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. And dude, I don't want to say a lot because, we're definitely going to be discussing this album on our year-end episodes, but fuck, it's so good.
So good.
It's just everything about it is fucking phenomenal. The vocals, the guitars, the drums, the lyrics. I haven't stopped listening to it since it came out. I kid you not when I say I've probably listened to it at least 15 times through. And
they just hit 1 million streams too. I think on Spotify.
For the album.
We definitely contributed a decent amount.
Definitely contributed. And I mean, I made some pretty bold statements about it when we talked about their singles that they released, and those will come back up, but I'm gonna leave it at that. And in the spirit of Kelly giving our listeners somewhere to start, I think I'm gonna stick with Worth It as my favorite, but I am really, really feeling Mad Sad.
It's like, it's so good. It's just so like the pop punk song. It's just been like really hard. There's so much new music, but like it's really hard to stop listening to Distance. But something that made me open my ears a little bit was the new Bearings album, Hello, It's You. I always find it really difficult when like two really good albums come out in the same week, and then
Right,
you're
because
just
it's hard
like,
to alternate.
yeah, and then you're like, then your whole day is just like switching back and forth between these two albums.
When it was when Into the Raging Sea and All Distortions Are
Yes,
Intentional came out on the
yeah,
same day, it was
exactly. You're
like,
like, and then like so anyway, Bearings also came out with a new album, Hell It's You, and I also really really liked this album as well. One of the singles on this album is Sway, and it's such a fucking bop. I can't stop singing it. I sing it in my head and like do a little dance whenever I do things around the apartment. It's just like that song that's always in my head when I'm doing things, you know.
yeah,
Um, I just love it. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Nella Vita, Grayscale. Um, and like partially I think the vibe is like a little bit similar. Maybe like the tempo of some of the songs I think got me thinking like that, but more so I think it's that feeling I got when I listened to Nella Vita for the first time. It was like the first time I really like took Grayscale seriously. Like I had heard a couple of their songs, but like they were always just kind of like in passing for me. I had never like would had considered Grayscale like one of my favorite bands or anything like that. And then I heard Nella Vita, and I kind of had like a similar moment, I guess, with
like an
Bearings.
epiphany.
Yeah, it's just like that moment that Nella Vita gave me. Hello, It's You kind of
Yes.
also gave me that moment again. Because I had known a couple Bearings songs, but again, like not anything that like I would say like, hey, I really like Bearings. But now I do.
Yeah. I totally feel that. Like, I've actually seen Bearings live. The last show I saw this year, which was over 260 days ago, it was Sleep on It
Oh yeah,
with
yeah.
Between You and Me and Bearings.
That was them.
Oh, you saw Bearings too, right? You were at the Pride and
Shut
Disaster
up.
tour. Yeah,
That
we
was
each saw them.
them.
Shut up. Now I'm like really mad because I like don't know. I'm not remembering that. Maybe I was late. Oh no.
Maybe. I don't know.
That was literally so long ago. It's making me really upset how long ago that was. So anyway,
Yeah.
moving on.
So, for me it was like I've liked Bearings, but this also was kind of a turning point for me because it's a fantastic album. Like the entire album just makes me want to dance, and the vocals are so dope and the lyrics are so catchy. And, they make me pretend I'm on stage performing. Like the song "So Damn Wrong" legit
So good.
I think I have a great stage presence. If I could actually sing, I would have been a fantastic front woman for a pop punk band. Cause like legit, like I was I was listening to so damn wrong, singing it, and I got like in like the iconic, legendary like Freddie Mercury pose, like his legs spread, arm in the air. But yeah, no, it's a great album. It really makes you feel something, and I would have always labeled them, and this might be just my misperception of them, just because I haven't been super into them in the past. I would have been a little more emo, a little more punk before this album, but this is definitely more a little bit on the pop upbeat side, like the likes of like With Confidence or Seaway. And I just wish like I'd appreciated them when we saw them at Pride and Disaster.
Yeah.
And then as for a favorite song, Sway is definitely catchy as fuck, like you said, Kelly. Like you
It's
catch
so
yourself
catchy.
singing that, just oh hey, like I'm doing laundry and here's Sway in my head. But I gotta say, I
Doing it
think
now.
So Damn Wrong is my favorite.
It's so good. So those are two of my favorites too. And then the other one I really, really like is I Feel It All.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
Those three I think I would say are my favorite. And Better Yesterday, that's the first one, right? Better Yesterday.
Yes.
That one I
Wait,
really like
Chalk and
too.
Kelly can't pick one either.
I'm sorry. It's so hard. Yeah, I'm just like really, really bad at favorites. If you asked me to pick
Like,
one, I would
this
just like,
one,
I would
and
sign
this
off. I can't do that.
And this one, and this one's good too. Oh, I forgot about this one.
Okay, all
Oh
right.
wait, I said the whole album.
All right. Okay. Done with make fun of Kelly time.
I feel like we need to stop asking you your favorite songs and just be like, all right, rank your top 5 off the album of 11.
I would see. Yeah, that sounds pretty nice. That sounds like a fun activity. But you bet I would add a sixth, like just because.
Just because.
Just for good measure.
Yeah.
An honorable mention, if you will.
Yes, you have to. Yeah, there's always got to be an honorable mention.
Ah, Kelly, you're my fave.
So the final album that we're doing like our rapid fire like reviews of rather than our in-depth track by track is You Versus Yesterday's self-titled debut album. So many debuts this year.
Mm-hmm.
So they had like some EPs and like singles and stuff out, but this is their like first full length. And yo, 2006 called and said, get ready for 2020 pop punk because it's fire.
I would just like to point out once again, we were freshmen in high school.
Freshmen / sophomores, because that was like end of our
Yes,
freshman
yeah.
year.
I'm in middle school.
Yeah, you were
Yes,
tiny. Oh, imagine tiny little Kelly.
You were a
in
little
middle-
Oh, middle school
baby.
Kelly is not cute.
So cute. But so, for those of you that have not yet listened to the album, I'm being my usual really like quirky punny self. Because You Versus Yesterday had that a song on this album called 2006 called. And yeah, it is very 2006. And you know, I gotta say, there was a reason we hadn't heard of You Versus Yesterday until our last episode when we talked about their single Better. And that's because they were gearing up to single-handedly save 2020. Or, I mean, maybe not single-handedly, but, you know, all those fucking people saying Machine Gun Kelly is gonna save the scene. Fuck you. Fuck you. That's right. I fucking said it. Because you know what? It's bands like this. It's bands like You Versus Yesterday, Boys of Fall, or Bearings, Meet Me at the Altar, Action Adventure, College Radio, Broadside, Stand Atlantic, all those fucking bands that are doing fucking amazing things. Those are the bands that are going to save the scene. And, God, it's such a dope album. And, you know, I wish we had the bandwidth to do a track by track of it, because just talking about it in general terms, it doesn't do it justice. It's so worth a listen overall.
Yeah, I thought this one definitely like surprised me, I think, because it I don't know, like I don't know if I just didn't have as high expectations or something, I don't know, but I really enjoyed it. You mentioned 2006 called, that might I might have a favorite, like a single favorite.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Which is yeah, this is new.
Call the
But,
newspapers.
I know, huh? But it just felt like 2000s pop punk to me, like super catchy drums, guitar, all like the whole gambit. I just really, really liked that one, but like in general, like super catchy, super like traditional pop punk, I guess. But I totally agree. It's bands like these up and coming bands that, you know, are changing the scene and, you know, making it something modern and something new, and, you know, building on the roots that, you know, 2000s pop punk kind of set for our decade. So overall, real big fan. There's so much music to listen to this week, and honestly, a lot of it is definitely worth a listen. So might take you 2 hours to get through it, but it's pretty much all worth it.
There's literally not one thing I can add because the two of you went so in depth, and yeah, it was really good from the quick listen through I did. I only listened through it once. Normally I try to do it more than once, but yeah, I don't even know what to say because it's the same thing that you guys would have said. But yeah, thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. So while that's all the new music that we're going to be giving you through the end of the year, because we have some special episodes coming up for you for our holiday episodes, you know, a kind of culmination, if you will, of 2020. And that's gonna be interesting because we all know how 2020 went. But we do have one last new music, if you will, as we discussed, Riverview's new song that they just released with Jacob Johnston. So, as promised, hailing from Little Rock, Arkansas, our last guest of 2020. Yes, our last guest of 2020. 2020 is almost over. Riverview is a band with a pop-punk emo blend. Growing up on mid-2000s metalcore like Woe Is Me, Asking Alexandria, and August Burns Red, each band member brings different influences and style to their sound. Starting out in 2018, when their drummer Tyler Clark left his prior band Slick Grip, Riverview has gone through multiple lineup changes before becoming who they are today. And who they are today just released their debut single, Knuckles, on November 16th, which we learned today is at over 3,000 views / streams. And I totally get it, because I gotta say, it is a banger. So everyone welcome Jacob Johnston of Riverview. Sup, dude?
How's it going?
It's going great.
Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, we're happy to have you.
Welcome to the party.
Oh, I'm excited.
You should be, because we have started a tradition here on the Moshpit that, you know, before we get into the down and dirty, we play a game, warm up. So we have a game of Guess the Lyrics for you.
Sweet.
So we're gonna say the lyrics to 3 songs, and we're gonna say it, not sing it. So you have to guess either the band or the song, and because if you get both, that's awesome. Bonus points, you win everything. There's no prizes, but you win everything. So are you ready?
I am. But you know what? I pride myself on being like a music geek. So you gotta hold me to a higher standard. I've got to get both of them, the artist and the name of the song. I feel like that's necessary.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Your rules. You're you're the honored guest here.
All right, hit me.
All right, so the first one. She flies out to the east coast of the States, but I'll remain here alone, following my own ghost, trying to live another day.
I don't know that I've ever heard that before. Is that Waster?
Indeed it is.
Eastbound and Down?
Yeah, you nailed it, dude!
Freaking, yeah, it sounds weird when you're saying it. It sounds really weird.
Right, it does. It's tough, and it's when you know the song, it's so hard to just say the lyrics.
Oh yes,
because you
but
want
I
to
was
sing
singing,
them in the tone.
I heard the she flies up to the East Coast. I started singing. She flies up to the East Coast. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yep. I started.
You got
I got
it.
it. I'm a genius.
All right. Song number 2. And I can feel your stare like dynamite, breaking silence with Irish goodbyes. But I'm not who you remember. Just who do you remember?
Oh my God, that's Knuckle Puck. But what song is
Correct.
it?
What song?
Hold on. That's Gone. That's the song Gone.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Because right after that, the chorus comes in, and that chorus is a banger. Oh man. Oh man.
Killing it. And you did change the rules on us. You're getting all of it, name and band.
Yeah, I was really hoping you wouldn't go with something really obscure from these bands, so that's really helping a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not trying to make you look like a fool.
Well, come on now, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to test me. All right, hit me with the last one. I got this.
All right, last one.
3 for 3. If I get this one, everybody has to go listen to our song right now.
Right now, this very second.
Let's do it.
Overthink my situation, procrastinate my obligations. I'm taking my time back. I'm shedding my.
All right, so last one. This one's for all the cookies. I guess I owe you for most everything, like the way I feel and the curse you bring.
Oh my lord, that is the story so far. What song is that? It's so weird because he just like when I listen to the story so far, I hardly even listen to what they're saying half the time.
I have a couple bands like that too.
Yeah,
I might need that one to run it back again.
Okay. I guess I owe you for most everything, like the way I feel and the curse you bring.
Oh my lord, I can't even sing it.
I really want to sing it. It's so hard not to sing it.
No, I literally am singing it in my head. What is it called? Oh, that is... Oh my Jesus.
I'm also
on
like
the
the
tip of your
worst at
tongue.
song names, so I feel your pain. Usually I'm like,
Oh,
I know
I got
exactly what
this.
this is, but
I literally
You got it?
can envision what album it's on. It's on the one with the, I don't even know what it's called, but it's got like the green vine lady on the front. Is it? Oh, it's down to two of them. It's either Things I Can't Change or it's All Wrong. It's one of the two, but I can't remember. Neither?
It's neither one.
No.
Which one was that?
It was Nerve.
Oh, wow. I'm stupid. Yep, that's like the,
I guess I owe you.
that's the opening line of the. Oh, I am depressed on that one. That was bad.
Oh no. You did so good otherwise, though. You got all the bands and all the other song titles.
To
so,
be
you know,
fair,
you're
I'm
5
not
for
as-
6.
you know what? To be fair, I'm not a Story So Far super fan. So like,
Yeah.
you know what's bad is that's the opening line of the first verse too.
Yeah.
Well, 5 for 6 isn't too bad. Better than my grades in
Yeah.
high school.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say this was a success.
I agree. So getting into the tough hitting questions, not so much a game anymore, but we know Tyler started it all, and it's been a journey for all of you to get where you are and with your current lineup. So tell us your origin story. Is there a deep twist like a superhero movie or something?
Well, that Tyler didn't start the band technically. I started the band technically.
Oh, okay.
So he was in a local band here in Arkansas that was getting pretty big called Slick Grip. Like you can go on Spotify and find their stuff still. Pretty solid stuff. But like Slick Grip was, I don't know, rock, pop punk, I don't know what you want to call him. And I kind of looked up to him in the scene. I was probably 16 at the time, 17. And, I was just kind of like making my own things at home, making songs at home. And, I didn't know really any drummers that were like punk drummers. And so I was like, hey, Tyler, you want to like drum on this for fun? But he kind of turned me down and was like, right now is not the best because they had just played a show to, I want to say it's probably 500 people at this place in Little Rock called the Metroplex. It's owned by like the local radio station, rock station, and they opened for We Came as Romans and Bad Flower. You know who either of those are. And so, like, they were kind of on their way to do big things, and then turn comes to turn, and, they kind of just, like, split ways. And Tyler came to me, he was like, hey, you remember that pop punk thing you wanted to do? You want to still do that? I said, sure. So we went to the internet. I knew a guy. I'm in college right now. I went to college in 2018, and we formed it probably the end of my first semester, probably in that, like, October range. So I knew a guy in college who was a blues guitar player, actually. I was like, hey, do you want to join a band? Because I know you like music. I have this thing that I'm working on, and you can play bass on it. And he said, sure. And then Tyler knew a guy named Trevor, who actually has credits on the song that we just released. He helped write us a little bit. But we found him, and we all met at a Chick-fil-A in a halfway point, and just like chatted for like half an hour, and that's how it all began, in a Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, man.
I'm telling you. After that, we like just started jamming, and the first riff we ever brought in was, it was like, it's this like punchy riff, and everybody was like, damn, that's really good. I like that. Let's work with that.
I like the term punchy so we have a very limited vocabulary here on the Mosh Pit. I think we're gonna start incorporating punching in there.
Because we aren't actual musicians, we just like to talk like we know what we're talking about. We're non-expert experts.
Gotcha. Well, if I throw some musical terms out and you have no idea what they mean, please stop me, because I probably will at some point.
I mean, we're just gonna pretend we know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yes,
Well, that
and then
works.
as we Google on the side.
That's funny.
Oh, interesting, fascinating things.
But yeah, so like I brought this riff that we call Easy Chord. It's like a bouncy, like something you would imagine if you were in a mosh pit and they say everybody jump, like it's that kind of riff.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And then the second riff I ever brought to band practice is the opening riff from Knuckles.
nice.
And I just was like, I was listening to the story so far a lot, actually. And I like how the story so far uses kind of bigger chords. Like instead of a power chord, like something you'd hear in, I don't know, like Black Flag or something, you know.
Right.
And I brought that, like, I just kind of wanted to have a song that was, you know, had that extended chord range, and most of all, I wanted it to be simple but complex. That's kind of how I've described it. You know, I want it to be simple in structure, but have its nuances that make it complex, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
No, I know what you
It's
mean.
completely contradictory, but you know.
But like the song itself. If you look at the song itself, you know, the structure of the song is basic. There's nothing super crazy about it. But when you listen to it, like the little verse lead lick that goes da 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 da, that part, you know, it's kind of. I wouldn't say it's a super simple thing, and that's kind of what I think we were going for as a band. Is like we want to keep you interested, but we also don't want to get crazy with it. That's kind of how I guess that's off topic from Origins. But yeah, as a band, like we Trevor had to step away for personal reasons. Noah had to step away for personal reasons. We went through like different stints with different people. We're still all good with them, just like they couldn't commit to it or whatever. And then eventually we landed on a singer. Our singer that we have now, his name's Garrett. He's from this itty bitty town called Velvet Ridge. And I know that doesn't mean anything to you, but it's literally in the middle of nowhere. But we were like, this guy's from Velvet Ridge? What? But yeah, we found him. And then we found Brady, who is the current lead guitar player for us. And then our bass player is actually from Chicago. But he was just kind of like, who likes pop punk down here? I've heard you guys have a decent scene. And we picked up Jeff, and ever since, we have been Riverview as you know it.
There you go. So, you know, you talked us through kind of your songwriting process a little. You know, what's it like to kind of, you know, go through so many changes in the makeup of the band, you know, in terms of the songwriting process? Because I'm sure, like, everybody's starting to contribute and then somebody leaves, and, you know, that kind of messes with the flow.
Right. You know, to be truthful with you, you know, we had Knuckles almost all the way written through before we settled on like a permanent member, quote unquote. So it was really just me and Tyler sitting in his spare bedroom with his drum set next to me and my guitar and just jamming out ideas. Like that's how we wrote Knuckles. It was just me and him sitting in this room, you know, annoying the shit out of his neighbors because he lives in an apartment. We had like noise complaints every once in a while, but like it was just me and him that like back and forth. That's how we wrote for probably 2 or 3 of the songs that are going to be on our album in probably like February. There wasn't a whole lot of collaboration. It was just like I had a cool idea for a riff and Tyler would just hash out drum parts over the top, and that's kind of how we wrote Knuckles. And then once we found Garrett, and he was kind of committed, he wrote lyrics, threw a melody on top, and bam, the song's done. So that's how it happened.
Nice. So it didn't have as much of an impact on you guys then.
Right. It was, I mean, kind of that chaos, if you will, of having people step in and out. Because I would say we probably went through 7 or 8 members. Like, I don't know that it had an impact on the songwriting so much as it did personally, like mentally. Like, kind of if you had like 8 different members come in and leave, come back, leave, whatever, like mentally there were times where we were like, you know, like, is this really gonna happen? Like, should we just set it all down and be like, fuck it, we're done? Thank God we didn't, because now crazy shit's happening. But
yeah, now you're Riverview.
Yeah, but like at the beginning, probably a year into it, there were times where like I was just so like skeptical of whether this would ever come to light, because it was so hard to find a guitar player and it was so hard to find a vocalist, especially. Like, I think it had more of an effect on our mental than it did our like songwriting and that sort of thing.
So now that you guys are like complete, you know, you're one with each other, where did your band name Riverview come from? You know, I feel like that's such a like lame question to ask, but I am genuinely always curious where band names come from.
Well, ours isn't anything fancy. So in Little Rock, right through the middle of downtown, the Arkansas River flows through it. And they used to have a skate park down there right on the river, and like, you know, it was down on the waterfront and people used to go skate there. And Trevor, the original guitar player and vocalist, he and Tyler used to go down there all the time and skate a lot. And so it's kind of like for people within the scene, quote unquote, it's just kind of like a historical monument, if you will.
Yeah, like a go-to.
Right. Riverview Skate Park is like kind of like, because it's not there anymore. So it's kind of homage to, you know, our roots and where we came from, because Riverview Skate Park got torn down, actually. And so, like, for us, it's like a way to immortalize the skate park that kind of brought together so many people.
Oh, well, there you go. That's a nice story. That's not
that's
like...
really cool.
I like it.
So we know you guys all grew up on metalcore, but here you are, a pop punk band. What are some of the influences that you guys have for like the type of sound you have now versus what you grew up with?
Well, the three artists that you brought for the game earlier those are definitely a top three. So funny story, I used to like absolutely hate pop punk. Like I used to hate it. Oh man, I used
Get
to,
off the show.
like aside from like Blink, I used to be that kid that was like, if it's not Blink, it's not real pop punk. Like I totally used to be one of those kids. But like originally, I know when we first formed the band, Tyler, our drummer, was kind of like, he was like, hey, you want to go see Knuckle Puck? And I was like, Knuckle Puck's terrible. Why would I ever want to do that? But eventually I was just like, you know what? It'll be a boys trip. We'll have a good time. Whatever. And I went to the show, and it was Knuckle Puck, Citizen, Honey, and Oso Oso were all there. But yeah, he took me to this show, and yeah, I was floored. I was like first of all, Oso Oso put on a really good show, and then Honey came out, and we were like, they have like on record they kind of have this like weird like almost disco kind of vibe, and we were like, I don't know about that one. And they came out, and it was like a fucking rock concert. It was insane, and we were floored, me and him. And then Citizen came on, and they were very, very good. And then Knuckle Puck came on. I was like, oh boy, here we go, the band I hate. And I don't know, it was just a hell of a show. And then for whatever reason, from that day on, it flipped. I was like, damn, these guys are really good. I guess the live show just kind of helped me realize how good it was.
Yeah.
It's a whole other experience.
Yeah, it's totally about the experience, the atmosphere, the energy.
Right. But to get kind of back to where your question was, because we got a little off topic, like Knuckle Puck, I think is, as a whole band, is kind of our heroes, if you will. Like, I know Knuckle Puck and Story So Far, like, that's kind of what inspired Knuckles to come about, was I liked how they used more complex chords rather than just a couple of power chords or whatever. Like that sound of like the kind of almost like emo pop punk, darker pop punk stuff. Like that's what I took shape from. So they're definitely a big one. And then I know, at least from my personal style, I don't know about them, but like AC/DC was really big on my songwriting. I've always been a big proponent of simplicity over technicality.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a lot of like rappers do, you know. It's not necessarily about how complex the music is or whatever. It's more about the whole atmosphere that they're creating. And I kind of took that from AC/DC. Like AC/DC was just some like good, fun, down and dirty rock and roll. But like they never played anything that was technically insane or anything, you know.
They perfected the simple.
Right. As I've heard it been put before, they're the world's greatest bar band that made it big. I took a lot from that kind of stuff. And then for me personally, the reason I started playing guitar was Metallica. 100%. Like, Metallica was the band, and the only band that mattered in my early guitar playing days. Like, it's just me sitting in my room learning riff after riff after riff after riff until my fingers bled. I know there was a point in my life when I was 13 or 12 or something that I was like, if it ain't Metallica, it ain't right. Like, Metallica's it. Which I still will agree with to this day. But back then it was more like nobody else has talent. Only Metallica has talent.
It's funny that you say, like, Metallica was like your go-to. We told you that I'm not musically talented, but I did try learning guitar when I was in high school, and the first song I ever learned to play on guitar was Iron Maiden's Run for the Hills, Run to the Hills. And, that really, it's that kind of music, like Metallica as well. It just really, it's so good that you just want to, like, keep playing it. Like, it was never my kind of music, but, like, it made it fun, even though I sucked at guitar.
Exactly. And I've had people like message me personally from like our music, and they're like, "Damn, you're really good. Like, what would you say is your keys to success with playing guitar?" I was like, "Just playing. That's all I did. I just like jammed out songs that like made me want to play guitar, and like that's just that's kind of how I learned. That's kind of what I want to be to somebody. Like I want to be the Metallica for somebody else."
For sure.
You want to inspire people. So you walked us through how, your single came to be, and you talked about how you were inspired by the more emo side of, the scene. Lyrically, the song actually plays into that, like, darker side of things and, being unhappy with yourself and whatnot. Maybe walk us through, like, the headspace it was written in. Have you ever dealt with that kind of a, like, dark side when you were growing up? Was it the stereotypical angsty teen turning into a rock star phenomenon?
Yeah. So all the lyrics were written by our vocalist, Garrett, and he has shared with me, since he wrote that song, kind of, what was happening and kind of what the song means to him. Our singer Garrett like deals with mental health a lot. Like I know, like he said, he's like, man, I hope this band thing works out. He's like, I hate, where I work. I don't like what I do. And so that's honestly kind of what Knuckles is about. It's about kind of finding your path. You don't know what the hell you're doing with your life, but you also don't know what your life is going to be. It's kind of this dichotomy between like, I want my life to be better, or I want my life to be different, but I can't get up and do it. It talks about procrastination in that song. It says,
Yeah.
overthink my situations, procrastinate my obligations.
Yeah, dragging your knuckles, I mean.
Exactly. And that it's kind of talking about like, I feel like most people that are going to relate to the song are going to be younger people to like the mid-20s, late 20s.
For sure. We're all lost at that age.
Yeah, I've felt like, especially in the formation of this band, I was like, why the hell are we doing this? I don't know. I find it therapeutic, which I've listened to this song 1,000 times. You have no idea how many times I've listened to this song.
So is that how I got to 3,000 streams?
No, I'm saying like before we released it.
No, I
before
know.
we released it, I've probably listened to it 3,000 times while we were doing the mixing. But like the song it's just very. I find it therapeutic because it's kind of like, which is kind of the reason I gravitated towards stuff like I know Slipknot is probably up there, one of my biggest influences. And I remember the first album I found was like Iowa, and it's like, holy shit, what is this heavy stuff? This is crazy. But like one of the songs on there that like I firmly remember is Everything Ends, which is a song about like Corey Taylor, the singer, like going through kind of like suicidal panic and like depression and stuff like that. I feel like most people have been at that point in their lives at some point in time, and if you haven't, God bless your soul. But like the fact that I can connect with somebody, there's somebody that's quote unquote bigger than me, more famous than me, singing about the same shit that I'm going through. Like there's a therapy to that, and that I think that's kind of what we're trying to do as a band. We just want to connect with people, and like, we've got so many messages, like you have no idea. I've probably personally got like 10 that are like, from 13 years old to 25 years old saying like, this song really resonates with me. Like I was like listening to my car with my girlfriend and I started crying. Like it was like stuff like that. It's like, that's insane. I never thought that would happen. But
that's fantastic. That's what it's all about, right? It is connecting with people, and I mean, I gotta say, like, your song really resonated with me too, because my 20s have been a shit show, so it's hard to figure out where you want to go in life, and I think Knuckles really speaks to that. So, moving on, let me preface this question. Because I may end up sounding like, some snobby, elite, coastal asshole. But for once, I really don't mean to be an asshole. I just really can't help it. It comes naturally. I'm from New Jersey, so, we're all shitheads. Anyway, I know you mentioned, you were going to shows and stuff. But I know, during tours, a lot of cities and states kind of get passed over. And, for many of us, that's how we find bands to listen to. This is where I might sound like an asshole. You you guys are from Little Rock, Arkansas. To be honest, I couldn't point that out on a map. And so
neither can people in Arkansas. It's okay.
So I mean you can't, but it's a city, you know, it's relatively populous. I looked it up. It's like, you know, nearly 200,000 people.
And I don't know.
You know, I can't.
In the grand scheme of things, it's pretty small. That's
our
largest. That's the largest city in Arkansas.
Yeah. Well, so you get the point I'm making. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't imagine you guys have like every tour come through, right? So, you know, not necessarily like growing up going to shows. Like, how did that like affect you becoming a pop punk band? You know what I mean? Like, if you weren't, like, for me, I became a fan of the scene going to shows, right? And like, that's how I found bands. Like, how did that affect you? Just kind of
developing your taste,
becoming a part of the scene, delving into the scene.
So, like, for me, what really got me into the scene, quote unquote, was back, you know, I don't know, 2010-ish, probably. And it was just like, I was like scrolling YouTube or something, and all of a sudden My Chem comes up. And it was like, damn, I don't know who this is, but they're really fucking good. I have no idea who this band is. You know, it was like My Chemical Romance. I'd never heard of them.
Yeah.
And like, that was, you know, I want to say My Chem came to like our big stadium like one time, maybe. But like, Arkansas isn't a pop punk community. Let's put it that way for the most part. Like, Arkansas there's tons of country, tons of like hard rock, but pop punk and like scene music from back in the day, especially like that, like isn't, you know, like if you lived in Seattle in the 90s, in Arkansas, like you're either listening to top 40 hits, country or pop, or you're listening to hard rock and like mainstream metal. Like, there's not like a lot of in between. So I want to say like that, honestly, it motivated me more. Let's put it this way. I'm going to break down the scene as it is right now. There are 3 bands probably in our scene to this day that are of any substance, really. There's a band called Go for Gold, which if you haven't looked at them, I'm plugging them right now. Go look them up. They're phenomenal, and they're homies of ours. And then there's Cardinal Rule, which is actually the singer from Tyler's band that he was in that fell apart. And then there's another band called Past Comfort, which is kind of an emo, like kind of your like old school emo type thing. All 3 very good, but that's about where it ends for like pop punk and emo. Like, that's it. There's nobody else, hardly at all. That's how small it is. And so, like, to me, like, I kind of want to be that band that helps push pop punk farther in Arkansas.
For sure. You want to be that inspiration for, like, the
next generation,
the youth in Arkansas, to be like, wow, he's like from where I am. I could be in a band too.
So picture this. It's 2021. The U.S. has gotten its shit together. COVID vaccines out. People are able to be out in public again. You've released an EP. You're about to go on tour. Who is your dream person to tour with?
Oh, I bet you can guess it right here, right now.
Knucklepuck.
Yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
I knew it.
Yeah. I think everybody in the band would agree with that. We'd shit our pants if that actually happened.
But obviously, that's just one band. So, like, give me, like, the full tour lineup. Like, you know, it's going to be you guys, Knucklepuck, who else?
How many bands are going on this tour?
Let's say 4 total, including you guys and Knucklepuck. Okay. So give me 2 more.
So Knucklepuck's... Oh, damn. Okay.
You gotta tell me who's the headliner, who's opening. You know, you gotta tell me the lineup.
Obviously, we're probably gonna be the opening opener. Like, but we've got the 15-minute set at the very beginning. That's the problem. And then,
hey, I always go for that band. I'm always there for that band because you never know who you're gonna fall in love with.
And then nobody else is, so you're on your own there. But it'd be really, really, really sick. Go for Gold would be cool to like be our second band on this tour, if you will, kind of like right above us, because they're getting pretty big, but you know they still got some work to do. And then Knucklepuck would be like, I don't even know, co-headliner,
sub-headliner.
Yeah, something like that, right? And then I think the coolest thing would be to put Neck Deep as the headliner. That would be.
Oh hell yeah, they would be.
I think Neck Deep, Knucklepuck, Go for Gold, and us would be. the craziest fucking tour on the planet.
That would be dope. I would definitely go to that show.
If you have any connections to Neck Deep or Knuckle Puck, please let us know.
The closest connection I have to Neck Deep is my tattoo.
You know, I don't know that counts.
Well, I like to think it counts. But now we're going to do a quick rapid fire question for you. So, first thing. Okay? It's going to be like a this or that. Would you rather?
Okay.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Are you sure?
I am 100%.
All right. Country or pop?
Oh, pop, 100%. Country's awful. Can't stand it.
The Voice or American Idol?
Neither.
You have to pick one.
Ooh.
Oh, I hate them both, though. You know what? Just because I like Adam Levine, I'm going to go with The Voice.
All right. And final rapid fire. Instrumental or acapella?
Oh, instrumental, 100%. Who likes acapella? Golly.
Hey. I mean, I liked Pitch Perfect.
Oh, I'm sorry. Acapella's not for me. I prefer instrumentals.
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, that's obviously why we're here doing a pop punk podcast, because, we just love those punchy riffs.
Oh, who doesn't like that?
Right?
My mom does. That's who does it.
All right, so, we're starting to wrap up here. We've got a few questions left. And I kind of erroneously sort of maybe like totally absolutely shit on Arkansas, for not having a music scene. And, as you said, it obviously does, if not really a pop punk scene. But, so once we can travel again, we're going to come visit because we're besties now. So aside from seeing a show, what's a must-do or see in Little Rock or even Arkansas?
Well, it takes like 3 hours to drive across the state, so that you can pretty much go anywhere. I mean, you got to go see a Razorbacks football game. That's 100%. That's the University of Arkansas Razorback football team. So I don't know if you were in tune with college football, but back in 2011, we had one of the best scandals of all time. It was up there with Jerry Sandusky, if you remember that.
Yes.
Oh, yes, remember that one.
We had one of those that wasn't quite as bad because we weren't molesting children or anything, but we had some good scandal. Our coach had a mistress, and he hired his mistress to be his assistant, and then they were on a motorcycle, and then he crashed his motorcycle. And anyway, big scandal. You can Google it. It's a great time.
I'll say that's a great rabbit hole to get lost down.
Spilling the tea, loving the hot gossip.
And so after that, they fired him, and ever since then, it's been a slippery slope downward. The last 2 seasons before this one, we won a total of 4 games.
It's like you guys are cursed.
And before that, it was if we broke even, it was a miracle. It was we had won the Super Bowl if we won 4 or 5 games. But now we've got a coach who is a beast, and we're actually doing okay. That is it. You got to go to a game at Fayetteville, W.D. Reynolds Razorback Stadium, sponsored by Walmart.
That's awesome. Plus, we're both big football girls. Not so much college, but definitely love a good football game.
There is nothing like a game at Razorback Stadium. Oh, man, the drunk people everywhere. Oh, it'd be so much fun. Oh, man.
So hopefully we can get the world back on track so we can actually make it out there someday. Speaking of which, you mentioned that you guys have an EP coming out next year. What else is in store? What else is in store for y'all? Are you just, are you going to do an EP? Or you guys, hopefully, once things get back on track, releasing more music, more, touring or whatever?
Yeah, we have a few things in the books. Some things that I can't necessarily spill all the details on.
Divulge.
Yeah, not totally, but I can give some hints. We may or may not be in talks with a couple of big name singers to be on a song coming out next month.
That's exciting.
Not gonna name names, but stay tuned for that. We have 2 tracks. One that is definitely coming out next month that we have entitled Drop Hole. Don't know why we called it that, but we did. I named it that for whatever reason. Couldn't tell you why I named it that. It's a speedy one. It was just to give you guys some reference. It was inspired by Quicksand by the Story So Far.
Ooh, okay.
So, but yeah, we have a guy that's supposed to be on it who is absolutely fantastic, and we finalized that deal the other day. So that's definitely going to happen. We have another guy that may be on a single coming out, or it may just come out on the EP. So that's the plan. We're thinking maybe when they do a virtual set, like do a live stream set.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. I don't know how likely or not that's supposed to happen because we haven't practiced ever as a band, as a full group.
Pandemic problems.
Exactly. Oh, I forgot to mention this. This is big. Our local music guy, his name's Kurt. He's kind of he's been involved in the scene for a long time. Knows everybody. Good guy. He's putting together a compilation album of different guys within the scene, and we're on it. It's a charity thing for it's called Punk for Paws. There's a guy that I know and Tyler's good friends with, and Chris, who has this charity that basically they do different musical things to raise charity for like animal shelters and just kind of animal related charity benefit things. So we're on
love that. Big animal lovers over here.
But yeah, if you want to check out the Arkansas music scene, that'll be soon. He said it'll be out in December. And then, yeah, EP in February. And as of now, I think we're planning on like making a live debut sometime in June. Like that's kind of the way it's looking with, coronavirus and it kind of looking as if there's an end in sight. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at.
Lots of exciting stuff on the books.
Tons. We're stoked. It's been 2 years and, we couldn't be happier with what we're doing.
You guys are ready to get that ball rolling. So, you've got Knuckles out now, and you've got a lot of stuff coming out in the works in the coming months. Where can our listeners find you?
Well, we're up on social media on Facebook at Riverview AR. We're on Instagram at Riverview Band AR, and we're up on Twitter at Riverview Band AR as well. And then you can find us on iTunes / Apple Music, Amazon, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Basically, anywhere that you play your music, we're there.
So you have no excuse not to listen.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. And then you're going to listen to it and you're going to be like, these guys are awesome.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Jacob, for coming on the show. It has been a blast. We are so excited to hear more from Riverview. And thank you.
Hey, I appreciate you letting us come on. It was, except for I'm still disappointed that I missed that Story So Far lyric, but I guess I'll get over it.
It's okay. You know what? That can just hang over your shoulders for the rest of your life, and you can feel super inadequate.
We're gonna be famous, and I'm gonna be just on stage being like, "Damn it! On the Moshpit, I missed the Story So Far lyric." Like, it's gonna be like 10 years from now, be like some old man. But yeah, it was fun. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Just means you'll have to come back and do another interview and, get them all right then.
I hope so. Well, then I'll probably if 10 years from now, we take off or whatever, I probably won't have time to listen to tons of music and it'll probably be worse next time.
Oh, you'll be like me. I'm that person in our group. I don't know any words to songs. I don't know any new bands. I'm I know my 4 bands I liked when I was in college, and that's about it.
It's so funny. Our drummer's the same way. He'll be like, I'd be like, surely you know who this is, and he'll say some band that's totally wrong. It's like, where the hell did you get that from?
That's our Brienne.
Yep. So basically, we need to be friends. Is what's happening.
Dude, you and him would get along great.
All right. Well, thanks again, Jacob. It has been a blast. Like he said, go listen to him wherever you listen to your music, and you know where to find us at the Moshpit Pod on Facebook and Instagram. And as always, until next time, you're going to listen to their music, but the next time you're going to join us. But until next time, #Mosh on.